Okay, so have you ever, like, you're trying to read something on your phone, and it's like you need a magnifying glass suddenly, or
Yeah.
your eyes just feel, like, completely fried after staring at a screen all day?
Yeah, the struggle is real, right?
For real. So for this deep dive, we're all about those moments, those blurry vision, eye strain moments. And you found this article about something called accommodative dysfunction.
Mm-mm.
Uh, I'm going to be honest, that sounds a little scary.
It's a mouthful for sure.
Right. So in plain English, what does that even mean?
Basically, it means your eyes are having a hard time switching between seeing things close up and far away. It's like, imagine those tiny muscles in your eyes. They're working overtime, trying to adjust your lens, but sometimes it's almost like the lens gets stuck, you know?
Like when your camera lens makes that whirring sound, try to focus.
Mhm.
Except way less fun when it's happening inside your eyeball.
Exactly. And this whole thing, it's even more common with something called near work, which basically just means activities where your eyes have to focus on stuff up close, usually around 16 to 20 inches away.
16 to 20 inches. Wow. Okay, that is closer than I pictured. No wonder my eyes are exhausted by like 5 p.m. But here's a question I always hear. Are we seriously damaging our eyes by spending so much time on screens?
Yeah, that's a big one. Okay, so screens aren't gonna like cause permanent damage to your optic nerve or anything, but it is demanding on your eyes, no question. You're constantly adjusting to the light, the refresh rates, all that scrolling text. It's a workout for your eyes. Maybe not a marathon, but definitely not a walk in the park either.
Gotcha. So more like eye strain than actual eye damage.
Exactly.
Speaking of eye strain, this article, it lists a whole bunch of symptoms for focusing problems and blurry vision. It's not the only one. Like, what are some of those sneaky symptoms that people might not even realize are connected to their eyes?
Okay, so think about how your whole body feels after like a crazy focus day. You get a headache, that tightness around your eyes, maybe even some blurry or double vision.
Oh, those tension headaches. The worst. I always figured it was stress, but it could be my eyes too.
It totally can be. And it's not just headaches. Maybe you're squinting more even when the lighting's fine, or your eyes are dry, itchy. Those can all be signs your eyes are putting in overtime.
Headaches, blurry vision, squinting dry eyes. Okay, I'm starting to get stressed just hearing this. So what causes all of this in the first place? Is it just too much screen time or is there like more to it?
It's definitely more than just screens, although, yeah, that doesn't help. This article gets into a bunch of causes, from things like refractive errors to like more serious stuff.
Okay, let's start with the basics. Refractive errors. I hear that term all the time, but I'm not even sure I totally get it.
So refractive errors, those are basically the vision problems we usually fix with glasses or contacts. Myopia, hyperopia, and astigmatism. It's all about how your eye focuses light onto your retina, which is that light-sensitive layer at the back of your eye that's like basically a movie screen sending images to your brain.
The retina, the VIP section of the eye.
Exactly. Okay, so myopia, that's nearsightedness. Basically, your eye's shaped in a way that makes faraway things blurry. It's like the light is focusing too soon in front of the retina instead of directly on it.
And then hyperopia, that's the opposite, right?
Yeah.
Things close up or blurry.
You got it. It's like that projector is too far back, so everything close up gets fuzzy. And then there's astigmatism, which is a little different.
That one always seemed kind of mysterious.
Right. So astigmatism is all about the shape of your cornea, the front part of your eye that acts like the first lens, bending light as it comes in. Imagine a rugby ball. Not perfectly round, right? If your cornea is shaped more like that than a basketball, it can make light scatter, which means blurry or distorted vision, whether things are close or far.
Okay, I love that analogy. Rugby ball versus basketball. Way easier to picture. So those are kind of the usual suspects. But the article mentioned other things too, right? Causes that might surprise people.
Yeah, and some of these are important because they can be a sign of something more serious going on. Like, did you know that high blood sugar can mess with your vision?
Really? No way. I had no idea there was a connection.
There totally is. When your blood sugar spikes, it can make the lens in your eye actually swell up, which changes its shape and boom, blurry vision. Really important for people with diabetes to keep an eye on, no pun intended.
Well, that's wild. And kind of concerning. So it's not just what's happening in your eye itself, but also your whole body.
You got it. Which, again, big reason why those regular eye exams are so important. It's not just about new glasses, it's about your overall health.
So we've got refractive errors and now this blood sugar connection. What else we got? What are some of the other sneaky culprits when it comes to these focusing problems?
Well, there are a few other things that can directly affect your eye, like corneal abrasions or pink eye.
Corneal abrasions.
Oh.
Ouch, that sounds painful.
Yeah, it's basically a scratch on your cornea, that clear front part we were talking
Yep.
about. Happens all sorts of ways, getting poked in the eye, wearing contacts too long. I mean, I've even seen it happen from a stray
Oh,
eyelash.
I bet that's not fun.
Not at all, and you don't want to mess around with it. Corneal abrasions, they can be super painful, and they make your eye feel like there's something constantly stuck in there. Plus, it's an open invitation for infection.
So see a doctor. Don't wait around on that one.
Mm.
What about pink eye? I always think of that as a kid thing, but I'm guessing adults can get it too.
Oh, absolutely. Pink eye or conjunctivitis is just inflammation or infection of the conjunctiva, the membrane that lines your eyelid and covers the white part of your eye. And it can be from a virus, bacteria, even allergies.
And blurry vision's a symptom of that.
Yep, along with the redness, itching, all that. The good news is, most cases, they clear up on their own or with some eye drops.
Okay, good to know. So those are a couple of things that can directly affect the eye. But you also mentioned some more serious conditions, things that can cause sudden vision changes, and that honestly sounds a little scary.
Yeah, they definitely can be, and it's super important to know about them. We're talking things like stroke, retinal detachment, concussions, TIAs. You want to catch those early and get help fast.
Okay, yeah, those do sound pretty serious. Let's break those down a bit.
Hmm.
Starting with stroke. How can a stroke even affect your vision?
So a stroke is basically when blood flow to part of your brain gets cut off, like a traffic jam in your neural pathways. And because different parts of the brain kind of control different functions, it can show up in some weird ways, including how you see.
So it's not always that classic thing like someone's face drooping on one side.
Right, exactly. It might be sudden blurry vision, double vision. You might even lose part of your vision, like someone drew a curtain across one eye.
That's kind of terrifying.
It is, and it's super important to get help immediately. Like any sudden vision changes, especially if you have other stroke symptoms, weakness, numbness, trouble speaking, a really bad headache that hits you out of nowhere, call 911. Don't wait.
Not the time to be tough and see if it passes, yeah.
Yeah. Nope, exactly. Time is brain tissue. Okay, now retinal detachment. That's another one where you want to catch it fast. That's when your retina, that lining at the back of your eye, it can actually detach from the stuff that's supposed to be holding it in place.
So it's like coming loose inside your eye.
Kind of, yeah, and it's often painless, which is tricky, but you might see flashes of light, those floaters, the little specks or lines, or even a shadow creeping in from the sides.
Okay, see, now that sounds like a horror movie.
And it can be really serious, like permanent vision loss if it's not treated quickly. So again, any sudden changes, get to an eye doctor ASAP.
Gotcha. Okay, what about concussions? I always think of those as, sports injuries or falls, but can they really impact your vision?
Oh yeah, definitely. Concussion is a brain injury, and even a mild one can mess with how your brain processes visual information. Blurry vision, double vision, you might be really sensitive to light, you might have trouble following moving objects.
Wow, it really is all connected. Your brain, eyes, your whole system.
Totally. And then we have TIAs. Those are like mini strokes. They cause the same kind of vision changes, but they're temporary.
So even if it goes away quickly, still a big deal.
Huge. It's like your body's giving you a warning. Get it checked out, because it means you could be at risk for a major stroke down the road.
Wow, okay, so we've covered some pretty intense stuff here. Sudden changes, call for help right away. But what about the more common things, like the astigmatism, the presbyopia? This article went a little deeper into those too, right?
It did. And they're worth talking about because they're so common. Astigmatism, for example. We were talking about how it's all about the shape of your cornea, the rugby ball versus the basketball. But what a lot of people don't realize is just how common it is.
So it's not just a small percentage of people walking around with a wonky cornea.
Not at all. Most people have at least some degree of astigmatism. It's all about how irregular it is. Think of it like a spectrum. On one end, it's so mild you'd never notice. On the other, you need correction because it makes everything blurry.
So how do you even know if you have it? Besides, like, going to the eye doctor, any signs to look out for?
Well, I mean, blurry vision is a big one. But people with astigmatism, they tend to get a lot of eye strain, especially after focusing on something for a while, reading, computer work. You might also notice yourself squinting a lot, trying to bring things into focus.
Okay, so if I'm squinting at this script right now, it's not just because I need more coffee.
Maybe not. Could be astigmatism. But really, if it's bugging you, if it's messing with your day-to-day, go get it checked out.
Good advice. This article, it mentions some treatments too, right? Like beyond glasses and contact.
Oh yeah, for people who want a more permanent fix, there's LASIK. They use a laser to actually reshape your cornea. It's kind of like giving your eye a custom tailored lens.
So it's changing the physical structure of your eye. That's kind of wild.
It's pretty amazing.
Wait,
And then there are ICLs, implantable collamer lenses. Those are tiny lenses they surgically implant into your eye, and they work together with your natural lens to correct your vision.
it's like getting your eyeballs an upgrade. Those sound like intense procedures, though.
They are. Not for everyone. It all depends on your individual situation, how severe it is, all that. But it's cool that the options are out there.
Right. Options are good. Okay, well, let's talk presbyopia, that age-related farsightedness. You mentioned reading glasses earlier, which, let's be real, are kind of a rite of passage once you hit a certain age.
Yeah.
But what else you got? What are some other options?
Well, you've got your readers, and then there are bifocals or progressive lenses. They have different sections in the lens, so you can see both near and far, all in one pair.
Oh, right, those ones with the little lines. I've always wondered, how do people adjust to those?
Yeah, there's definitely an adjustment period. Your brain has to figure out how to look through the right part of the lens, depending on what you're looking at. But most people adapt pretty quickly.
Are there, like, permanent fixes for presbyopia, too? Like the LASIK or those implantable lenses for astigmatism?
Yep. There are procedures that reshape the cornea, kind of like LASIK, but tailored for presbyopia. And then there are ones where they actually replace the natural lens in your eye with an artificial one that can change focus.
That is some serious science fiction stuff right there. Okay, but let's shift gears a little bit and talk about when to get help. We've covered so much, from the common things to the scarier stuff, stroke, retinal detachment. How do our listeners know when to stop, like, WebMDing their symptoms and actually pick up the phone and call a doctor?
I mean, that's the big question, right? And it's tough, but honestly, I always say, when in doubt, get it checked out. But yeah, any sudden vision change, that's an automatic trip to the eye doctor. Or the ER if it's really bad. Or you've got those other symptoms like stroke symptoms. Don't mess around with that.
So no toughing it out, seeing if it goes away on its own.
Nope, not worth the risk. Your vision, it's precious. And those sudden changes, those are like your body sending up a flare. Something's up.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
So sudden changes, take action right away. What about the, I guess, more gradual things, the little annoyances we might just ignore?
Well, that's why you got to get those regular eye exams, right? You wouldn't wait till your car breaks down to take it to the mechanic. Same with your eyes.
So it's about prevention, catching things early. How often are we talking, ideally?
It depends. Your age, your health, any other risk factors. If you have diabetes, for example, you got to go more often because of that whole connection we talked about. But in general, at least every 2 years for most adults.
Every 2 years. Okay. So between those checkups, anything we can do day to day to, like, give our eyes a break, maybe prevent some of these problems in the first place?
For sure. One of the easiest things, and it really works, is the 20-20-20 rule. Every 20 minutes, take 20 seconds, look at something at least 20 feet away.
So, like, stare out the window, look at a tree, give your eyes a little vacation from close-ups.
Exactly. Relaxes those eye muscles, cuts down on eye strain. Think of it like stretching after a workout. Your eyes need that too.
I love that.
Yeah.
What about our workspaces? I know I'm guilty of, like, hunching over my laptop on the couch, which can't be good.
Yeah, you got to think about ergonomics. That plays a big role. Your monitor, you want it about an arm's length away. The top of the screen should be about eye level. Good lighting is huge too. Bright enough, but no glare.
So it's like making your whole environment more eye-friendly.
Exactly. And don't underestimate blinking.
Blinking, seriously.
I know it sounds dumb, but when we're staring at screens, we don't blink as much, which dries your eyes out. Just make an effort to blink more, especially during those long screen sessions.
It's amazing, the little things. Well, I have to say, this has been really eye-opening. I'm definitely going to be paying more attention to my eyes from now on.
That's what we like to hear.
So as we wrap up this deep dive into basically how our eyes work or don't work, I'll leave you with this. Our vision is amazing. It's this whole intricate thing: biology, light, how we perceive the world. Let's appreciate it, take care of it, and, keep exploring everything around us with clear, healthy eyes.
I couldn't agree more.
And on that note, we're out. Until next time, keep those peepers healthy and keep those questions coming.